Joining me now, Leland Reagan, our Monday morning quarterback here. We learned in the sports block that quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs, Aaron Murray, he's coming back. He tweeted that last night. What do you make of that?
Well, what I make of that is it's going to stagnate the Georgia team and the quarterback ranks. Obviously, Hudson Mason sitting back, waiting for his opportunity to play. And it gives Georgia the experience it needs at quarterback, but you got Christian LeMay sitting there. You got Bryce Ramsey coming in as an early enrollee. I think we see LeMay decide to transfer and go somewhere else because he's not looking good and he's kind of moving down in that depth chart.
Why would a guy like Aaron Murray decide to come back for a final year? Is it because he has an attachment to the team and wants to take him to a national championship, or did his prospects not look good in the draft?
Well, first of all, I think his prospect looked well in the draft because this is a very weak quarterback draft this year. You don't have a draft like you had last year with guys like Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck, and whatnot. This year, I just think he came back possibly for the chance to win a national championship, which I don't think they're going to do.
I want your thoughts on the Capital One Bowl. Georgia beats Nebraska. How'd you feel about that game?
Well, really good game. They started slow. Aaron Murray had an opportunity to start off really slow. He didn't impress people early on in the game, but a 5-touchdown performance obviously will help you out when you put up 45 points.
Some other people leaving for the draft on the Bulldogs team, Alec Ogletree, John Jenkins, Jarvis Jones, all leaving for the NFL. Next year, what do the national title prospects look like for the Bulldogs?
Well, the one big thing is Todd Grantham has that defense stacked and loaded right now. The only other concern they have right now is whether or not Kwame Gathers is going to come back and be that big plug, so to speak, in the middle at 6'5", 6'6", 350 pounds. They need that on a 3-4 defense. The concern right now is the offensive line. That's where their depth is. They don't know who the left guard and left tackle are going to be. That's a concern when you're a quarterback in Aaron Murray.
So college football ends tonight, really. This is what people have been playing for all season, the BCS title game. Bama and Notre Dame, who wins and why?
Well, I say Bama wins the game because of experience. They've been here 3 out of the last 4 years. You've got a quarterback in A.J. McCarron who has started in 2 BCS national championship games. I think that experience gets them over the top, but I actually think it's going to be a great game. Somewhere in the area of 24-21 Alabama. 2 top defenses in the nation. This is going to be a very, very more competitive game than people think.
Leland, appreciate your thoughts on this. We will check back with you a little later on in the show. We'll talk about some NFL stuff. We're back in 2 minutes, folks. Don't go anywhere. Doesn't that get you fired up? Welcome back to you. Welcome back to you, Leland. Falcons are going to play the Seahawks. We found this out over the weekend. What are your thoughts on Falcons and Seahawks in the playoffs?
This is the worst matchup possibility the Falcons could have possibly had. When you look at the Falcons, the Seattle Seahawks, offensively, they've got a mobile quarterback who can pass the ball in 3rd-round rookie in Russell Wilson. You've got a running back who had over 1,500 yards rushing this year. Falcons have been proven not to be able to do well against good running backs and teams that can run the ball. And they have the biggest defensive backcourt, the Legion of Boom, so to speak, is what they've been called, with Earl Thomas out of Texas being the smallest guy. They're kind of throwbacks to the old Mel Blount, 6'2", 6'3", and Emmett Thomas kind of large-sized defensive backs and cornerbacks. They're going to play physical with our Atlanta Falcons in Roddy White and Julio Jones. They're not going to be undersized cornerbacks and DBs. This is going to be a really good game.
So is it the last regular season game at the Falcons? They played the Buccaneers up in Atlanta at the Dome. They did not look good. It just was not a good game for them.
I don't think they had a lot, honestly, that they were playing for. Yeah. They had already know where their seating was. They knew they were going to host the playoffs throughout. And Tampa Bay was playing hard. These guys, Tampa, I said this before, teams that are losing and not going to be in the playoffs, they're playing for their jobs, basically. Atlanta Falcons had some injuries that concerned me, though. John Abraham, obviously, with a high ankle sprain. You had Dante Robinson with a head and neck injury. Those things look like they have subsided over the last 2 weeks. Looks like everybody's supposedly going to be healthy. Even William Moore, our starting safety, is going to be back, number 25.
So all these guys are going to be back for the Seahawks game. So a little bit better chances for the Falcons?
Better chances. Again, I still think there's an issue when you look at what this Seattle defense and offense, they're the #1 scoring defense in the NFL in Seattle. They're going to be opportunistic. They're going to take chances, and they've been known to score and have pick sixes and things like that. This is going to be a very tough matchup. Worst matchup for the Atlanta Falcons in this year's playoffs, I believe.
Time to make the call. Do the Falcons win this one?
I don't want to sound like a homer, but I am going to sound like a homer.
Yeah.
I think they buckle down and win this game. I don't think we have a good running game, but I think our defense steps up. 24-23, very, very close game. I think what happens is we end up getting a couple takeaways in this game. We saw Marshawn Lynch in yesterday's game put the ball on the ground.
Leland, thank you very much for your analysis this morning, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. You have a good one.
Back in just a minute with a final look at weather and some news. Stay with us.